If you think this week is just a clean, calm runway into Saturday night at Levi's Stadium, I don't know what team you've been watching, because the first sign that something's different isn't a quote or a headline, it's the body report. It's who's moving, who isn't, and what that tells you about the margin you actually have when everything is on the line. All right, real quick, if you ride with the faithful, tap like and drop a comment as we go. I want to know where you're at right now. Does this feel like the perfect moment to peak? Or does the injury situation have you side-eyeing Saturday a little? Here's what jumped off Tuesday. Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams were both listed as not participating. Normally you see those two, and your brain goes, veteran rest day, standard early week maintenance. This time, it wasn't framed like that. McCaffrey was dealing with back stiffness, an issue that had surfaced before and then flared again Sunday night against the Chicago Bears. Shanahan didn't sound like he was trying to scare anyone. He basically said it was sore coming out of Sunday night, and that's why they held him out. And when McCaffrey was asked if the back thing was serious, he was blunt. No, not serious. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend any back issue for a running back is a nothing burger. The whole position is leverage and contact and reloading over and over. But the key detail is the expectation. Neither Shanahan nor McCaffrey sounded overly concerned, and the working assumption is that McCaffrey will be available against the Seattle Seahawks. That's the part you hold on to, while still watching every practice note like it matters, because it does. And then there's Trent Williams. He sustained a hamstring injury against the Bears. Shanahan didn't specify the severity, but he also didn't rule him out for Saturday. That's not a promise. That's just the door still being open. And you don't need me to explain what Trent Williams means to this offense. You feel it. The run game has a cleaner angle. The pass sets look calmer. The quarterback isn't living in get rid of it right now mode. When Williams is out, you can still function, but the offense has to win in a tighter space. It didn't stop there either. Fullback Kyle Juszczyk left Sunday's game with a hip injury and didn't practice Tuesday. Defensive end Keion White also exited with a groin issue and was held out. Those are the kinds of names people outside the Bay might skim past, but you can't. Juszczyk is part of the identity. When he's available, the backfield menu is bigger, the play action looks feel more honest, and the run game has an extra layer of muscle. And on defense, when you lose a defensive end even for snaps, you're messing with rotation, freshness, and how much juice you can bring late in downs. But, and this is where the emotional roller coaster kicks in, George Kittle returned to practice after missing last week and sitting out against Chicago. That's the update that makes you sit up a little straighter. Then Shanahan immediately hit the brakes. Tuesday was basically a walkthrough, short week, light work. He cautioned against assuming that because Kittle was out there, he's automatically suiting up on Saturday. So yes, it's a positive sign. No, it's not a guarantee. And with Kittle, the difference is obvious. He changes what you can call how defenses align and how hard it is for Seattle to be comfortable. One more important piece. Cornerback Renardo Green, who missed the past 2 games with a neck injury, was a full participant on Tuesday. That's not as loud as a star offensive update, but it matters in a game like this. A divisional showdown, top seed on the line, the entire stadium buzzing. Having a corner you trust available can swing a couple of third downs, and those third downs become the game. Now let's talk about the part that makes this week feel even more tense. The calendar is squeezing them. Ideally, the 49ers wouldn't be on yet another short week before a critical Week 18 showdown. But the game was moved up a day from the usual Sunday slot, and now you're preparing with 1 day less than normal, less recovery time, less real practice time. And when you're trying to heal key guys, that 1 day is not small. It changes how you structure the whole week. 2 injuries were the headline from that thrilling Week 17 win over the Bears. Left tackle Trent Williams, hamstring, and tight end George Kittle, ankle. Williams suffered his injury on the very first snap last Sunday and didn't return. Kittle was ultimately ruled out and listed as inactive after not being quite healthy enough to go, and that ankle injury traces back to the week before on the road against the Indianapolis Colts. Shanahan spoke Tuesday and left the door open for both Williams and Kittle to play Saturday against the Seahawks. But the way it's being managed tells you what you need to know. Kittle seems much further along. He was expected to be limited in practice, while Williams was expected to be held out. That gap matters, because it points to who might realistically be able to push through and who might need more time than the calendar is willing to give. And the roster did respond last week. Backup tight end Jake Tongs filled in for Kittle against Chicago and scored a touchdown. It wasn't the full Kittle package because nobody is replicating that, but it mattered that the offense didn't freeze up. And on the offensive line, swing tackle Austin Pleasant stepped in for Williams and earned a shout out from Shanahan after the Bears game. That's not just coach speak, that's the staff saying, "We can function with this if we have to." Would you rather have the future Hall of Fame left tackle out there? Obviously. But it matters that the fallback plan didn't look like panic. All of that would already be a lot, and then you look at the stakes, and it gets heavier. San Francisco is coming into this matchup on 6 straight wins with a 12-4 record. Seattle has also won 6 in a row and sits at 13-3. The Niners hold the tiebreaker over the Seahawks, which sets up the cleanest, most brutal equation possible. Win Saturday and you secure the number 1 seed in the NFC and the NFC West title. That top seed comes with the first-round bye and home field advantage throughout the postseason. And there's one more wrinkle that makes it feel personal. Super Bowl LX is set to be played at Levi's Stadium. So yeah, the idea of getting the road to go through your building, that lands different. Now loop that back to McCaffrey, because the engine has to be ready. McCaffrey is nursing that back issue heading into Saturday. He dealt with it earlier in December, but he was able to play through it in Week 15 against the Tennessee Titans. He hadn't been on the injury report since, until Tuesday. And yes, Tuesday was a walkthrough, so the did not participate is an estimation. Still, when that name shows up with a back tag, nobody shrugs. McCaffrey spoke Tuesday, and again downplayed it. When asked if it was serious, he said no. He didn't sound concerned about his status for Saturday, and he also made it clear what this game means. It's huge, the focus is getting better, and the intent is showing up ready to roll. After being limited to just 4 games last season due to multiple injuries, McCaffrey has been back to top form in 2025. He's played all 16 games, producing 303 carries for 1,179 yards and 10 touchdowns. He's also caught 96 passes for 890 yards and 7 receiving touchdowns. That's not a nice bonus. That's the whole heartbeat of what this offense wants to be. And with a first-round bye and home field advantage on the line, the Niners need him at his best, not just active. But here's the reason the mood in the fan base isn't just anxiety, it's also confidence. Brock Purdy is playing arguably the best football of his career. Over his last 3 games, Purdy has completed 74.2% of his passes for 893 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, posting a 131.5 passer rating. The offense has been explosive, and Purdy has accounted for 5 of the team's touchdowns in each of the last 2 games. That's the kind of stretch where you can feel defenses getting stressed, and when defenses get stressed, they start showing you answers before the snap. Shanahan's message ahead of Tuesday's practice was exactly what you want. Momentum is nice, but he just wants Purdy to keep being himself, not hesitating. When he sees it, let it rip. And if he doesn't see it, get rid of it, usually to a check down, or find a way to make a play. That's the balance. Aggressive without being reckless, decisive without being stubborn. Shanahan also pointed to the moment that says everything about Purdy's wiring, throwing a pick 6 on the very first offensive play against the Bears, and then not changing at all. Some guys wear that mistake for a quarter. Some guys wear it for a whole game. Shanahan said Purdy didn't change personality-wise or demeanor-wise on the silent tape. That's the kind of poise that spreads through the locker room, because it tells everyone, we're still fine, keep playing. So that's what Saturday night is, a divisional rivalry game with the NFC West title and the number 1 seed on the line. McCaffrey dealing with back stiffness, Williams battling a hamstring, Juszczyk and Keon White on the injury list, Kittle trying to push through an ankle, Renardo Green back in the mix, and Purdy playing like a quarterback who wants the whole conference to watch. Now I'll throw it back to you, faithful. What's the single biggest factor for Saturday? McCaffrey's back, Trent Williams' hamstring, Kittle's ankle, or Purdy staying in this heater? And yeah, be honest. If one of these guys can't go, do you think the 49ers can still win this game on execution and toughness? Or does it force Shanahan to shrink the playbook? Put your answer in the comments, because I'm telling you right now, this one's going to split the fan base.